Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here. We are going to dive right into your reading. All right, here we go. For Pisces, what do we need to know? What do we need to know right now for Pisces? Please, Spirit, for Pisces. Okay. Wow. Okay, feeling the world. I think that's what we were doing yesterday. Okay. Oof. Okay. You guys have someone coming in, or like it doesn't, when I say you have someone coming in, this really can represent the deepening of a connection. It can really, it's a coming together in I kind of want to say deep and spiritual way. All right. So you may already know this person. You may already be, I almost said hooking up with this person, so take it as it resonates. But you may already, be communicating with them. This is like, first of all, let me just tell you, the energies that I'm picking up are this connection feels like home. It feels like a safe space. It feels like a space to belong. It also feels like a space where you are free to be who you are. It also feels like a space where this ears wide open energy, listening is a very special talent and skill. And a lot of people listen to respond. They're just waiting for you to take a breath so that they can interject their point of view or whatever. And sometimes they don't even wait for you to take a breath. Sometimes they just talk over you. But that's not love, and that's not loving. Love is, I am seeking to understand where you're coming from. I am wide open to what you're saying. I can accept that there could be multiple right answers. I don't need to be right. I'm not getting defensive because you're saying something that's triggering me. This is someone who is very focused on what is being said, and it feels like a getting to know you, or like, I just want to understand you. I don't need to judge you. I don't need to be right. I don't need to have the last word. I don't need to get my point across. I'm seeking to hear and understand where you're coming from. And that is very loving at the core, And when we do that, when we're really open, the amount of connection or the depth of connection that can be forged from that energy is endless, Like, it's really showing me, like you go on a date and you're sitting across the table from someone and they start saying things that differ from your point of view or that are not your usual type or type of person. And instead of, there's a piece here. This isn't accepting things that, are opposed to, like, that threaten or encroach on your being. This is like, I never thought of it that way before, kind of energy. I don't know how to describe it. It relaxing instead of tensing up. Okay. It's giving me like, there's this energy of like seeking home or a comfortable space. A place to belong. And it's almost shifting what belong means. Does belong mean we agree on everything, we're exactly the same, and we're assimilating to be even more similar to each other? Or does being at home or feeling safe mean I can express where I am and it can be different than where you are? Or it's not even showing me different as much. The core commonality, instead of being the words I'm saying to you are all the same as the words that you say, is that I'm seeking the same thing that you're seeking, and I'm open to finding it wherever. Do you know what it's showing me right here? I don't know. I only saw this very briefly and I didn't read a single article or watch a video, but there was a woman who went to Arkansas to find the diamond for her engagement ring. And I think it was like a Herkimer diamond. And she looked for 3 weeks straight, and she eventually found a 2-carat like diamond, which I think she got for free. And it's like, if you are looking, you're going to find like something. I think that was beyond what she was even hoping to find, what she found. And it's like giving me that, like it's better. There's a better thing there that you eventually find if you don't give up and you keep looking. If you set your mind to finding the treasure and you keep looking for it and you don't give up on it. I mean, it's showing me like this little person, like it's showing me in the woods. I have no idea. I didn't see anything about this except like a little blurb, like on some social media thing. It's showing me like this little person in these big woods on this big earth in this big space, and she's looking for a diamond for a ring. How tiny. And instead of being overwhelmed by the almost impossibility of what she was doing, she just stayed focused on what she was looking for, and then she found it. So take it as it resonates, you guys. I really, there's something with this energy. I don't know. All right, let us see. When I just saw that, like zooming out and then zooming out and then zooming out again on this woman looking for this diamond, it was a really bizarre feeling. Like how nearly impossible it would be to find that, but she set out determined to find it, and she was rewarded. Okay. Wow. look at that. No challenge is too big for us to overcome. That's the exact feeling I got. You know, kind of really like with this looking for the diamond thing. It's like, gosh, you guys, I don't know. With you, I feel protected and cherished. Do you see how this is like a cozy, intimate, like living room energy? This is it. This is what I feel. It's like this sense of conversation here that keeps this flame burning, but it's very intimate. It's very personal and it's very basic. Do you see how I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to anything. I'm being raw and uncensored, you know? And it's giving me like, I'm not trying to see what isn't there. I don't know. Yeah, like I'm accepting it at face value, and it's like just showing me like slowing down the mental computer and just being present and just like analyzing less and listening more. You see, even in this card, the same feeling is repeated with the 2 coffee cups. Like when you grab coffee with a friend and you're able to just sit there and talk about your raw, true experiences and like what's happening and what's going on. And there's no need to like put on pretenses. Guys, I keep getting this like, it's gonna be okay feeling. I don't know what. I didn't know about everything that was going on in the world. I had a lot going on in my world that prevented me from connecting on that level with everything. And I have no idea what it's all in reference to. Like, I don't know, but it seems like everything's going to be okay. Like, I'm just really getting that very reassuring energy. Like, it is a turning point, but it's all going to be okay. So take that for whatever it means to you and however it resonates with you. I don't think it's really important to define it or to clarify it. It just feels like everything's going to be okay. And like maybe we need to hear that, or maybe people need to hear that, or I don't know what. When we seek to comfort each other, to protect each other, to understand each other, again, with these simple silhouettes, there's no pretense here. There's no, it's just raw and authentic energy. These 2 energies go together. I trusted you and it broke me. And forgive what you didn't know you're still learning. It just feels to me like we've all put our trust and our faith in someone that may not have earned it or may not have deserved it, or, you know, maybe we wanted it so bad at the time that we were willing to risk it even when we saw a red flag, or even when we kind of almost like intuitively may have known that like we weren't totally on the same page, you know? But it's just giving me this energy of like coming to a place of peace with it and understanding that it was part of your journey for a reason, and that, you know, that journey ultimately is like leading to happiness. I read this thing, I don't know, I might have it on my phone, about the river that was afraid to go to the ocean because it would like lose itself in the ocean. And yeah, okay, here it is. This is Khalil Gibran on fear. Okay. It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the path she has traveled from the peaks of the mountains. The long winding road crosses forests and villages. And in front of her, she sees an ocean so vast that to enter, there seems nothing more than to disappear forever. But there is no other way. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. To go back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean, because only then will fear disappear. Because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. Replace the ocean with love in that story. That's what it's giving me. It's just giving me that vibe hardcore. You know, we have trusted the wrong people. And, you know, it's not to say that we will never trust the wrong person again. But it's almost as if that's what love requires. And if someone does you dirty or someone lets you down, it truly is on them. And that, you know, you Bunchy, come here. Come here. You pretty angel. Grand Dogma missed you so bad. My grand dog went back to the dog trainers this week for a week. And I missed her so much. And now she's home. And she's so precious. I don't know what to say about this energy. Hopefully these bits and pieces that hopefully you're looking at these cards and getting your own message intuitively. And hopefully from the bits and pieces that I'm grabbing and trying my best to put into words, it's communicating something that's of value. But this is like, there is an opportunity for intimacy here and for conversation and for really getting to know someone on a deep level. And it is in a way that can eventually set you free. It is a great big love. And love is patient, love is kind, love is understanding, love is all of these things. And being truly loved is being set free, because you are free to be authentically all of who you are. And it's not too much, and it's not wrong, and it's not bad. It's okay. It's all okay. Like, I just keep getting this energy of like, it's okay. It's okay. Um, for some of you, I feel like this is something that potentially someone at one point turned away from, or, you know, when I say turned away, I could mean in a big way, like there was a complete severing of a connection, or there was some kind of separation, or I took a couple days off, or I pulled my energy back just a little bit, or, you know, it was enough for you to feel a shift maybe, but it wasn't maybe totally completely. It's going to be all varying degrees because this is a general reading, but there's just this energy of like, I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling unstable. And so I pulled back with the ghosted energy. I mean, some people may have left without saying anything and may have gone incommunicado for some time. Other people, like I said, may have just really pulled their energy back and not really communicated why they were doing that or what was happening. Or you may have even said, what's going on in that head of yours? And they didn't say and they couldn't say, and their words may have fallen short. There is this with the passion card and the unspoken feelings card, one of the things that I'm picking up on is that question that we sometimes have. Is this just a physical attraction? You know, and that's why no feelings are being spoken. Like, are we just in this for the physical connection or the attraction? Or is there more? Is there something beyond that? Is there something you're not expressing? Is there something you're not telling me? Like, are we both on the same page here? Do we both feel this? Are we both experiencing this in the same way? So there may have been a conversation like that, and then someone sort of pulled back. There may have been, it may have felt like, okay, this is where this is leading. This is where we're coming to, and someone pulled back. It feels to me with this accidental love card that like this person may have had no intention of developing deep feelings. They may have even thought it was impossible. There's something that I'm getting. Do you see how these look like children? And these are clearly full-on grown adults. There's something here, and it can be like an inner child wound or something, but or it could be like, you know, just like a childhood experience of never feeling totally accepted or sort of feeling like an outsider or sort of feeling like someone that other people just didn't understand or didn't get. And you know, when we feel that way as a child and we sort of, you know, have that experience repeatedly, then when someone connects with us, we question it. We wonder, is this real? Is this really happening? Do they really feel this? Probably not. You know, we just don't feel, it's hard to believe. It's hard to trust in it. And it's a challenge, you know, and it's really a challenge us with us. More so than it is us with the other person. And I feel like that may have been what triggered this energy, like the difficulty trusting, the difficulty thinking that someone really might feel that way about you or could feel that way about you, or that even happens, or that's real, or that, you know, but feeling that vulnerable, like you're feeling that way for someone and then looking at them and going, there's no way they could possibly feel this for me, or that they do feel this for me, or what if they do, what if they don't, you know, I don't know, but it's kind of, it's giving me like this retreat to the safety and security of being alone. This could be an independent person. This could be an only child. This could be just someone who is used to sort of feeling alone, or has gotten very used to their own company. And this can even be someone who's been in multiple different circles. They may have lived in different places. They may have kind of have like a wide variety background kind of energy. And it's kind of like they are just like a lone traveler fundamentally at the core. And this connection may have really been a challenge to them to really let someone in, to really open up and be like, wow, yeah, someone can feel that way about me. People do feel that way about each other. Like, this is actually really happening, kind of a vibe. We have the Queen of Cups, or the Queen of Water, with the Strength card and the Fool card on the bottom of the deck. Some of you may have strong Leo in your chart. You may be dealing with a Leo. You may also have Aquarius or Aries, or be dealing with an Aquarius or an Aries. There is an energy here with, you know, loving another person, truly unconditionally loving another person, really does require strength. And it the biggest muscle sometimes I feel like we have to exercise, or the biggest strength we have to flex in these things, is us with us in our own internal battles, us in the voices in our head, us in the narrative that we've adopted and adapted throughout our life that, you know, is constantly telling us whatever it's telling us, and generally it's not nice. It brings our attention to that voice, and it asks us almost daily and sometimes hourly, what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to give into this voice that is trying to make you believe that, you know, you need to protect yourself, that this isn't going to work, that this doesn't happen to people like you, or that you can't trust another person's motives ever, or that, you know, this is definitely, you know, us with our fear and our lower vibrational tendencies, and the opportunity to overcome them through the act and experience of unconditional love, you know, not to like exaggerate it, but it's not an exaggeration. It is oftentimes the hardest thing we ever do in our entire life. With a Fool card, it requires us to let go of our past narratives and the burdens that we have been carrying from past experiences and from the voices in our head, you know, and our programming, right? It requires us to let go of those things and to just take the leap of faith, to just trust. Okay. The Queen of Cups is being clarified by the Knight of Swords in reverse, and the Knight of Swords can sometimes represent reckless action. It represents, for me as a Libra, it represents this feeling, and I'm sure probably every air sign can kind of relate to this, and maybe like every person can, but when I get an idea in my head that is like, okay, I want to do this, or this is my truth, or I'm being guided or called in this direction, I know that fear is going to follow. Fear will always come. And so when I kind of get into the Knight of Swords energy, it is sort of to outrun that fear. It is to pursue that idea or that thought so hard, so fast, so all-encompassing that fear can't reach me until it's too late, until I already know I can do it. You know what I mean? Or that I am doing it. And so sometimes it causes you to take reckless action. sometimes it causes you to not think about the ramifications of your actions or your movement or whatever, because because your goal isn't as strategic as it is no, your plan to get there, to reach the goal or to pursue the thing, the thought, the idea, is the driving force without strategically choosing an endpoint that you're moving toward. It's just like, I got to move on this before fear catches me. Every painting that I paint, I almost, this is what it is. It's like, I have to dive in. And then at some point while I'm painting, I have to tell myself, slow down. You're not racing anymore. You're in it. You're committed to it. You're doing it. It's actually happening. Look at what is on the canvas. It's happening. You're painting. And then I will get sloppy because my feeling when I was just starting off is, I've got to address this blank canvas. I've got to paint it. I have to go at it. I have to express this thought. I have to get it out before the fear of, what if I'm not good enough to express this? What if I don't have the right skills? What if, blah, 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 I make a mess, and I kind of have to go get through that point by telling myself, you can paint over it. You can this, you can that. But it's like, there's a speed in which I dive into something, so that it's kind of like, what is your strategy of getting into a pool? Like a cold pool. Is it you just dive in head first because the shock, you have an initial shock, but then you're used to it and it's okay? Or do you inch by inch, one toe, then the rest of your toes, then all the way up to your ankle, then up your calf, how do you do it? What's your method? What's your strategy? When you dive in head first, you may not think about, did I grab a towel? Do I have everything I need for when I get out of the pool? Do I, you may not think about all of the peripheral things. You're just like, I got to get in this pool before I realize I'm about to freeze myself out here. You know what I mean? And it's this energy. And so while we can sort of enter into the process, we can accidentally find ourselves in love, because we're like, I'm just drawn to this person, and right now I feel guided and compelled to move toward them. I'm not thinking about, is my life ready for me to have a life partner and for me to dive in head first into unconditional love. But it's like, you pop your head out of the water and all of a sudden you realize, wait, hold on a second. I may have some pretty intense feelings here. And then you're like, oh, hold on a second. I'm in the deep end of this pool. I could drown in this. And that's when the fear sets in. And so the Knight of Swords energy is a tool, but it's not necessarily an answer. Do you know what I'm saying? It can sometimes get you into a place you're not prepared to be. Do you get what I mean? And so with the Strength card and the Six of Pentacles is where we're this is where we're consciously aware, right? We're like, oh my gosh, this is going to ask me to invest. This is going to ask me to give equally to this situation. This is going to ask me for commitment and for balance and for harmony and unity. And with the Strength card, that requires me to overcome my fear that I can't trust anybody, or that love doesn't happen, or that love doesn't work, or that love, I've learned the hard way, and, I don't know that I'm ready to jump to be the river that is going to the ocean. I don't know if I'm ready to become the ocean right now. I'm comfortable. I'm okay. I can sort of, keep my lower vibrational tendencies at bay. But if I start investing in this and I balance out with someone else, and I, think there are expectations and this and that, I don't know that I am brave enough for that. I don't know that I'm strong enough for that. And I have been maybe even for some time sort of resisting that even. I just accidentally sort of woke up and found myself here. Because I was listening to the Knight of Swords energy, like just go for it, just give in to the moment and do the thing. You have the Hermit on the bottom of the deck, and this is that energy of like someone may have pulled back, that ghosted energy. Like they may have had to sit with themselves for a minute and say, what do I want? What do I need? And this is like a barren desert. I have been alone and lonely, or, in this energy for so long. I don't really know what I want. And there's this tree that's already growing in the desert. It's kind of like almost saying to me, it's too late. Something's already begun to grow here. You have the Three of Swords underneath it all. It's like I got here, I got to this place where I'm alone, or where I need to be alone, or where it became the desert out of my own suffering, out of my need to be alone and sort of sort my thoughts out so that I could move into a different energy. And that sort of ended up leaving me here by myself, where I've protected myself or created so much distance around myself, or not really kind of allowed anything to grow for so long that it kind of looks like this. And this sprung up out of nowhere. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't asking for it. But you see that sun is coming up in the back of the horizon. This is an opportunity at happiness. Okay, let me see. Jeez. Wow. So we have the Star card and we have the Five of Cups with the Lovers. And you see the Lovers card in this deck is very similar to the Strength card, but there's this relaxation and this like cuddling into it. This, you are like home. We don't normally see people snuggling lions. A lion could maul that person and eat that person for breakfast, literally. But she is not the least bit concerned. She understands the power of the lion and the potential of the lion. But she has come to a place of peace within herself, and a space of trust with the lion to, and I don't recommend this, and I'm not condoning this, and I am not an animal tamer or trainer or anything, just by the way. But she has found a way to come to a place of peace with herself, which we saw in the Strength card. And in doing that with the lion, right? And the lion has earned her trust. So this is a different choice that she's making than the choices that she made in the past that she regrets. There's an energy here of earning this space. You with you and you with them. And it starts you with you, and then it translates you to them. And it's also them to you, really, because they're earning this from you. With the Star card energy, this is an energy of hope and optimism. It's kind of like, wow, I actually can see something different than what I've been seeing for so long. I can actually see a different way forward. I can actually see a reason to be hopeful and optimistic that maybe I have the opportunity to choose a relationship that's going to be healthy and supportive, where I can relax and feel safe and secure, even though the idea of intimacy or, we don't get rid of our fear. We may be able to move them to a place where they're more manageable, but like our fear of intimacy, our fear of abandonment, these are really innate to the human experience. Like we all have them. And so we can't just go, oh, I'm magically cured. I don't have that fear anymore. We can say that fear is manageable. We can say that fear really doesn't get triggered or doesn't really show up in my life. But it doesn't mean that just because we're not aware of it or we're not feeling it consciously every minute of every day that it's gone. It's still there. It's still part of the human experience. None of us want to be rejected. That's why people scapegoating people is so painful an experience. And it's something that people do on purpose, you know, it's terrible. But this energy is, you know, it's kind of like floating, you know, it's like, it is sort of this trust. It is this like, okay, I got myself to a place where I've learned to float, where I've learned to trust that I can be in the water without exerting any energy. And I can trust the water to hold me up, and I can trust my body to remain buoyant. And so I can continue to breathe and relax and be in water that is so deep it has the potential to drown me and still be okay. But, you know, if you're floating and you start getting in your head and you start thinking about, I could drown, you know, I'm just laying here on this water doing nothing, trusting this water to hold me up, and I could drown. And what happens is like kind of panic typically grabs hold of that, you know, is the result of that. And when we start panicking, the entire like chemistry of our body changes, and we're not able to relax. We're not able to like lay back on the water and float. And then it does require us to give all this energy to staying afloat. We've got to tread water to stay afloat. With the King of Air, this is this energy of controlling those thoughts, of mastering those thoughts, and just being able to maintain this space of peace mentally, you know, controlling our thoughts and not letting our thoughts control us, you know, not letting our thoughts cause us to be unstable and create all of this extra work for ourselves, but instead to just let the thoughts pass through and, you know, observe them, acknowledge them, you know, but not let them move us from our place of peace or shift us into a space that we don't want to be in. Man, that star card is being clarified by the King of Swords again. You know, hope and optimism and this idea that it is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. They require us to be masters of our thoughts. In order to truly feel, you know, hopeful and optimistic, and there is a certain amount of fate energy that is also involved in the star card energy, where it's like everything is happening for a reason. Everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. I am exactly where I am meant to be, kind of a vibe energy. You know, we can question that. Like our thinking mind, our egoic mind can interfere and say, oh, no, like, here's why that can't be true. Here's why that's wrong. Here's this, here's that. But there's, you know, the star card is the card that comes after the Tower. So we have these moments that really shake us. and these moments where things really change and really shift and really fall apart sometimes. But right after that energy is this energy where we can sometimes look to something bigger than us or something beyond us for strength, for the aid to get through what it is we're going through or what we're dealing with or whatever that change was, whatever that little earthquake in our life was. And sometimes, you know, in the rubble of things, other things are exposed. You know, when things fall apart in our life, sometimes we realize, wow, you know, I played a role in that, or I thought I had healed that, and it turns out I hadn't. I thought I was in a different space than that, but it turns out I wasn't. Or I didn't realize, you know, I thought that I had moved beyond something, but I didn't realize it was actually part of my foundation, and therefore the foundation of everything I built on top of it. We can't keep building on top of stuff in life. We can't keep covering stuff up and then building on top of it. That isn't ever going to like shore anything up. It's not ever going to make a secure or stable structure. We have to like tear it down and build it right. It's almost it's allowing me to infuse hope and optimism in my foundation now. Like it's allowing me to infuse this, you know, like messaging or like energy I'm getting from something that is beyond me. It's even like a restructuring of faith. I don't know. And then you have the 8 of Cups with the 10 of Cups here. And, you know, it's really hard to walk away from things. You know, and with that 5 of Cups underneath it, we're clarifying the 5 of Cups. Let me move this so you can see it. We're clarifying the 5 of Cups and the Lovers here. And we have the 8 of Cups and the 10 of Cups. And, you know, sometimes we think if I let go of the narrative, if I let go of remembering that I regret this, or if I let go of, you know, what happened back there, then I will be risking doing it again or experiencing it again. And I don't want to do it again. And so we hold on to things. We stay focused on things. We remind ourselves of things. And when we do that, we stay really focused on the past. And we give that so much more power. You know, we let that past experience really continue to influence us in the present and the future. And walking away from it does really require a bit of bravery to trust that we did learn and that we have integrated, and that if what we actually really want is emotional contentment with another person, then it forces us to leave behind this old narrative, because I'm not going to be able to have emotional contentment with another person as long as I'm holding on to this narrative and staying focused on the past where I have not been, where I haven't experienced that, where I didn't get that, I didn't have that. And so sometimes making the choice to turn our focus away from our past and to turn it toward the future and to kind of let it be influenced by hope and optimism when what we have experienced might have been a hellhole, that truly is a choice, a major choice with the Lovers card. And to then try to put that trust or to offer that trust or extend that trust to another person can be, I just got death defying. It's showing me like a circus, like people who jump, what are they, acrobats? Is that right? They put their legs around a bar and they're swinging high up in the air and then they let go and fly into another person's arms. Yeah, that's an acrobat, right? It's kind of like that. When we embrace that energy and the river moves through the trembling fear into the ocean and becomes the ocean, you have the Queen of Wands energy here. We become attractive. These lines here are giving me like the strings of a guitar or the strings of a violin or something, the vibration of them. And we experience our own bravery. And when we do that, we become so attractive to people around us, but also attractive to opportunity, abundance, all the things that we truly feel we desire. We become that frequency, we become the ocean. Everything becomes accessible to us because we're no longer the river penned in by the land. We've become something much bigger. We have joined together, oneness type energy. All right, you guys. These readings, it's like, I'm like, wow. I feel almost like out of my depth, Okay. You have the Devil flanked on both sides with the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Fire. And the Devil is fear. And our desires, the Page of Fire is where we say, you know what, I want this. I'm choosing this. I'm going on this adventure. I'm committing to this. I'm doing this. I want this. I'm passionate about it. I'm going in this direction. Our desire leads us into these spaces of fear because it's like, I want this. And not admitting and acknowledging that I want this makes me vulnerable and it's scary. It exposes fear to me. And it can fill me with the illusion of what could happen or what could go wrong or, all those things. But with a Page of Earth there, that is a spiritual lesson for me. And so it's kind of saying, following my desire isn't, God, the word that comes to me is wrong, but that's not the right word. It's like, it almost isn't really that scary because I either end up pursuing my passion and getting what I desire, or I end up with this very important spiritual lesson. The reason the Page of Pentacles, I saw this in a meditation years ago, is my card for spiritual lessons is because it leaves you with something in this material world that you get to then carry forward, that you then, it's going to serve you. It's a form of abundance. It serves you over and over again. As you move forward, you don't make the same mistake twice. When you know better, you do better. And that is a huge gift. It's a huge reward. And if we always ask ourselves, what is this trying to teach me? We'll always find it. It really is that simple. And so it's like, what is there to be afraid of? Fear itself. Literally, that's it with the Devil. Let me clarify the Devil, but I know this message. I'm getting it hardcore. Oh my God. Can't make this shit up. You're either going to come out celebrating, getting what you want, or you're going to come out with a spiritual lesson. That's how it's going to end. That's how it's going to go down. That's how it's going to go full circle. That being brave enough to choose what you desire is going to lead you in this path. What are we afraid of? We're afraid of it all falling apart. We're afraid of a moment that we feel like we can't handle. We're afraid of a little earthquake. We're afraid of something getting so shaken up that it tears everything apart within us. The only way that a tower can fall apart is if there's a fault in the foundation. And because we can't keep building, we can convince ourselves to keep building and act like it doesn't exist, and act like, wherever we're going is where we want to go, or whatever we're doing is whatever, but it will eventually all fall apart. We will eventually have to pay the piper. We will eventually have to face this thing. And the sooner kind of we experience it sort of fall apart, the faster we find ourselves in the star energy, healing, recovering, knowing that tower was always inevitable. It was always going to have to fall. And relationships do that. Relationships expose things that need to be exposed, or that if you're willing to face them, if you're willing to look at it, if you're willing to be open to it, and you're willing to say, what is this trying to teach me? You're going to come out with an insanely great gift. Something that is going to serve you over and over and over again in this life. My God, you have the Queen of Pentacles here, and the Queen of Pentacles lies underneath the tower. Do you know what we're left with? We're left with a deeper understanding of our own value, and a deeper understanding of what we want to nurture and invest in this life, and of our own abundance and our own ability to sit in our strength and our own stability, like provide that stability for ourselves, not need anything outside ourselves. You have the Six of Earth. You find the you that is able to truly reciprocate. You find the you that is truly able to invest with another person and not overgive and not undergive, but equally give. You find a mutually respectful, honorable connection. You have a lot of sixes in this reading. I've seen the Six of Pentacles, I think, twice. We have the Lover's card as a 6. When you shift into this energy of like, I'm not afraid of anything, because I am everything that I need. It all might fall apart. I can acknowledge that. I can fully admit and acknowledge that there could be things I thought I healed from, or things that I thought I'd taken care of, that are rearing their head again because they're coming back up. It's an opportunity for me to learn something here. But I am so solid, and I am so stable, and I understand my worth and my value, and I understand the purpose of these things, so that I am not afraid of them, and I am not living my life through a place of fear. I'm living my life through a place of abundance, because that is what this is. That is what this is. It's crazy to me how many people live through a place of fear. I do it from time to time, and then I go, whoa, I catch myself. My awareness gets brought to it by different things. And then I remind myself, like, holy crap, girl, you're a miracle. This is a miracle. And I look around and I am just absolutely overwhelmed by the abundance, the gift of life even, and that is what happens. Somebody breaks your heart. And it's like, you return to yourself and you remember, like, I'm okay. I'm a nurturer. I am naturally abundant. My life is a rich and wealthy place. It doesn't have to be financially. It doesn't have to be like you have the best house or the best car or the best job or this or that or this validates you or that validates you. The fact that you're a living, breathing miracle is enough. It is. It is more than enough. But you have this 5 of Wands energy. That fear is your only blockage. You know, that fear is the one thing that keeps us from entering the ocean and becoming the ocean. It's just fear with the devil. And fear is an illusion. And these are almost like giving me, they're skies that are framed here. It's like, whatever, but it's giving me like a mirror. When we find the bravery to face our fear, it reflects back to us. We have the opportunity to see and to sit with the things that we need to overcome, like within ourselves, our own shadows, our own... It's our own opportunity with our own self to get closer to enlightenment, or to get closer to where we're trying to get, or where we want to get in this life. You have this energy. I don't mean to, like, I don't know, but like, yeah, I just feel like these readings are getting so like out there a little bit, and I'm not really thinking about it. You know, I'm just sort of getting the messages and giving them over. But like, also, I just don't like telling people how to live, or like, you know, which is my own thinking mind, right? But like, I'm definitely not trying to tell you that, and I'm definitely not somebody who feels like they know the right thing. But you have this energy of the Queen of Earth, the Queen of Pentacles, with the 10 of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. And you have the Ace of Voices on the bottom of the deck. And underneath that, damn, you guys, this message came out almost exactly the same way yesterday. But it was the Page of Swords with the 8 of Swords. This is the 8 of Swords. Can you see it? How we get trapped. And then if we take that one sword out, it opens us up. It takes us completely out of entrapment. It lets us see a new perspective. It opens us up to something higher and bigger. You know, that fear is what keeps us entrapped in that 8 of Swords energy. We're avoiding something when we're in that energy. So you have the 10 of Wands with the Ace of Pentacles clarifying the Queen of Pentacles. And this energy, you know, the 10 of Wands is where it's like, this is a solid and stable opportunity that the universe is providing to me. But I can't actually take it. I can't actually say yes to it. Why? Because I have all these past burdens that I haven't put down. I don't have any space for this. I am all, every part of me, every amount of space that I have is consumed. And so I can't take one more thing on. You know, if you've ever tried to carry, like, I eat outside sometimes. And like, we have a table outside and we eat outside. And whenever that happens, you know, I always do this. It drives me nuts about myself, and I always do it. But I will be like, if you're eating like hamburgers outside or whatever, you got the ketchup, the mustard, the pickles, the buns, the mayo, the like tomato, lettuce, onion plate thing. I try to carry it all out in one trip. And it's like my arms are just completely full of this. And it's like, well, it's all necessary. I need to haul all this stuff around. I need to get this all outside. But it's like, I can't, if someone said, hey, here's homemade, I don't know, something really good to put on top of a hamburger, pickles or something. Here, take this outside. I wouldn't be able to. I would have to not pick it up. I would have to not have that at my hamburger table, because I wouldn't have any space to grab it with. Everything was full. And like, that might be my favorite thing that I actually want to put on it. But it's too bad because I can't take it because I don't have any space for it. And so one of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves as people, period, I feel like spiritually, is to just see the burdens that we're carrying around and release them. Let that cycle close. Let that cycle close. Every label that you have put on yourself, every narrative that you are carrying around with you, repeating over and over again, I can't have that. That doesn't work out. I'm unlovable. I'm unworthy. No one's ever going to show up for me. You know, blah, 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 blah. Just close that out. It's not serving your highest and best, and you're not going to get your best hamburger with that going on. You got to have space to be able to allow these new things that want to come in to come in. And when you're like this, you don't have space for it. And so there is clarity. There is something where it's like, I'm finally getting something that I didn't get before. My mind is opening up to I'm pretty sure it's like, accept my worth, accept my value, and know that I am enough by myself. And that, you know, if I'm operating from this place of abundance, like if you listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's talking to you about like, your life is already abundant. Like, you're already doing it. When you get that, like when that breakthrough happens, where your subconscious mind and your conscious mind are both accepting your worth and value and both on board that, like, in fact, you have everything you need on your own and you don't need anything, you don't want anything, you're not longing for anything, you already are. You align with stuff like this, the Ace of Materials and the Ace of Voices. You align with clarity and understanding and expansiveness and success and victory and new opportunities that are solid and stable and that are going to definitely probably lead to abundance. And you also come to the place where you don't feel the need to be a people pleaser. You don't feel the need to overgive in order to keep someone in your life. You don't feel the need to be useful or to be of service in order to keep someone in your life. You get to a place where it's equal and it's reciprocal, and I give what you give and I do what you do, and I trust you to continue to show up and to continue to give to this situation. And we're investing and we're building. And, you know, if this thing breaks apart, if we decide we no longer want to do this, that's okay. I'm still the Queen of Pentacles. I'm still okay on my own. I will always be okay. I don't need to be codependent, and I don't need to be avoidant. I don't need to be so afraid of suffering that I run away from you. And I don't need to be so afraid of being by myself that I cling to you. You can exist and I can exist and we can exist as one. All right, I don't know, you guys. Here we are going into messages. There's some deep energy. This is like spiritual connections and spiritual union, and it's stirring up like the stuff that we don't always kind of look at within ourselves. And it's coming up because it's time for it to come up, because it needs to come up. In order for these really high frequency, you know, soul connections and unions to happen, we have to be at our highest frequency. Like this is just what I'm getting. If you're dealing with the water sign, you're getting, I've been having weird dreams about us, controlling, annoyed, I don't want to miss my chance with you, I just need more time. If you're dealing with a fire sign, you're getting, I regret how I handled things before, cold, doubting. Oh, see, somebody was like probably a bit emotionally cut off and they regret it. And I'm sending you telepathic messages. It feels like an apology. If you're dealing with an earth sign, you have excited, then you have triggered. This is someone that is unstable. They go back and forth. I remember everything that you said. I thought about reaching out, but I don't know what to say. And wait for me. If you're dealing with an air sign, you have nostalgic. You have, I can't stop thinking of you. I want a future with you. The changes are real. And my karmic story is ending. Guys, this is what I have for you today. This wild and crazy reading. I hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. I'm super excited about the response I got about the group prayer thing. This is like, you know, I think it's really cool. I think we can affect change for each other and for the collective itself. So we're going to do it. I think we'll probably do it next Saturday, sometime around like 2 or 3 o'clock, because I think the most people could probably be there at that time. I'll probably post something when I definitely schedule it so that if you can't be there and you want something prayed over, you can put it in the comments. All right, this is what I have for you. I hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. Until next time, I send you off with all my very best. Of course, I hope you can be there, because the more, the merrier. Like the more energy that we're putting towards these things, the better. Okay, until next time. Love you guys. Bye.